We are live, Your Worship.
Thank you, Ms. Delisle. Good afternoon, Council. I'd like to call this regular council meeting of August 11, 2026 to order with adoption of the agenda. So I want to make that motion for me. Councillor Cherry, Councillor Devlin, all in favor? Motion's carried. Adoption of the minutes of the regular council meeting of July 28th. So one, Councillor Devlin, second by Councillor Lusow, all in favor? Motion's carried. Any business arising from those minutes? Seeing none, I'm going to go on to announcements from the mayor. As we all know, we are still in construction season, especially with our infrastructure paving going on around town and other construction work, private construction on properties as well. So when you are driving down any of our city streets, be aware of that. Big construction project over on Pearson as well, still in the throes of that. Also want to mention about fires. Definitely be diligent if you're anywhere in our community, but also out in the backcountry. Make sure you're not causing problems. And just to make sure everybody is aware, there is an ATV ban across the province. So make sure they stay out of the backcountry. And as we are all well aware, our CAO was evacuated from his home in Summerland. He's here, he's safe, his family's safe. So we're happy about that. And we hope that everyone in that community is able to cope with what's going on. Also want to mention upcoming food drive on September 16th, Wednesday. That's the Emergency Services Food Drive. We will definitely bring a press release to next council, so that's on the agenda, but I just wanted to mention that today. Councillor Luciano, do you want to add anything to that?
Yeah, if any individuals or groups are wanting to volunteer and help collect food, they can reach out to Janet Thompson, the manager of the food bank.
Great, appreciate that. All right, council, we're going to move on to our public hearing portion of the meeting today. Mr. Simon, do you have, or Ms. Hogan? It's your file. You're going to give us a brief presentation before we start, correct?
Correct. Let's get it set.
Your screen though. That's your screen.
Yeah, no. Strange that it's not showing up.
So I prefer your screen better than this.
No, it's coming.
Do you have two screens? Like, do you have to drag that over?
I tried that. There we go.
There we go. Perfect. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Mayor and Council. So today we are presenting an official community plan amendment and a zoning bylaw mapping amendment for the subject property at 1795 Nickel Road. So for the presentation today, I'll give a bit of a background on the property, followed by the proposal overview, and then conclude with policy direction, staff evaluation, and a recommendation. So the subject property is located at 1795 Nickel Road, and it falls within the Resort Lands neighborhood. The property is zoned industrial, rural recreation, and natural resource zone, also known as the I-5 zone, and it is designated as medium density residential in our official community plan. So the proposal being presented today is to amend the official community plan to change the land use designation from medium density residential to resort. And it will also include an amendment to the Revelstoke Mountain Resort Development Permit Area to include the subject property. The proponent is also requesting to rezone the property from the I-5 zone to Comprehensive Development Zone 2 Resort Neighborhood Area 4. proposed bylaw amendments are intended to accommodate the development of a clubhouse for the Cabot Par 3 golf course, as well as a maintenance facility to be constructed on a portion of the lands. I will also note that a development permit for form and character will be brought forward for council's consideration at a later date, but as a high-level overview, the clubhouse is proposed to include outdoor access washrooms, storage, retail, a restaurant, and indoor recreation activities. So staff have evaluated the proposed amendments against applicable policies in the official community plan. Some of those include the community economic development and general land use sections, the South Rebels, the resort fringe neighborhood and land use designations, and the official community plan amendments. So in addition to this, the proponent will be required to submit a traffic impact assessment and preliminary servicing plans at a later permitting stage to ensure the proposed development can adequately be serviced and does not negatively impact the surrounding properties. So this slide provides an overview of the staff evaluation for the official community plan policies. So just as a summary, the proposed development is consistent with the surrounding land uses and it's contiguous with surrounding resort development. It will also support increased commercial and recreational resort style uses, which will provide new employment opportunities in the community and encourage four-season tourism and economic diversification. In addition to this, impacts on adjacent properties and natural environment are not anticipated, as the proposed design includes thoughtful integration with the benchlands neighborhood and landscape buffers. There's also no environmentally sensitive or hazardous lands on the subject property. So with that, I will move to the staff evaluation, and today we are recommending second and third reading and adoption for both bylaw amendments.
Great, thank you, Ms. Hogan. Any brief questions for Ms. Hogan before I convene the public hearing? Seeing none, thank you, Ms. Hogan.
Actually, I have one
Go ahead.
question or just
Council
clarification.
Plummer.
Thank you. So is the intended use is good, and I understand that. Just for clarification, though, with the resort lands, it could change to some other use in the future if there was a need with that, the rezoning the OCP amendment. I'm not saying this as an opposition, just recognizing that that's a fact, and I'm just confirming that.
Yeah, through the chair. So if the bylaw amendments for the CD2 zone go through, it can anything permitted in that zone could be applied for. It would be reviewed under the development permit.
Right. Okay. Thanks.
All right, thank you, Ms. Hogan. This public hearing is being convened pursuant to Section 464 of the Local Government Act. At this public hearing, the public will be allowed to make representations to council, and all persons present who believe their interests are affected by the proposed bylaws shall be given the opportunity to address council or to present written submissions respecting matters contained in the proposed bylaws. Those of you who wish to speak concerning the proposed bylaws should commence your address to council by clearly stating your name and address, and you may give us the benefit of your views concerning the proposed bylaws. Please observe the rules. If you have any concerns with the manner in which the hearing is conducted, direct your comments to myself, the chair. Members of council may, if they wish, ask questions of you following your presentation. However, the main function of council members today is to listen to the views of the public. It is not the function of council at this public hearing to debate the merits of the proposed bylaws with individual citizens. Before we begin, I ask the corporate officer to confirm that all due process was followed according to the Local Government Act.
All due process was followed, Mayor Sauls?
Thank you, Ms. Floyd. And do we have a speakers list?
We do not.
Okay. So seeing that we don't have a speakers list, I am going to call 3 times for further speakers if there's anyone in the public that would like to speak. So for the first time, is there anyone who wishes to make any representations? Seeing none, for the second time, is there anyone who wishes to make any representations? And for the third time, is there anyone who wishes to make any further representations? Seeing none, meaning that there is no speakers, I declare this public hearing closed. Thank you very much for your submissions, and there were none. Please note that no further comments, either written or verbal, will be received once this meeting has been closed. For now, I'm calling for a motion to close the public hearing. Councillor Devlin, seconded by Councillor Cherry. All in favor? Motion's carried. Thank you. The public hearing portion of this meeting is now finished. Moving on to item 9A, official community plan amendment bylaw. There is a motion to be put on the table. Someone want to do that for me, please? Councillor Cherry?
I move that official community plan amendment bylaw number 2444 be read a second time.
Seconded for the motion, Councillor Palmer. Any further discussion on the motion? Seeing none, I'll call the question. All those in favor? Opposed? Motion's carried. Item number 2. Someone want to put that on for me? It's Councillor Lucille.
That zoning amendment bylaw number 2445 be read a second time.
Seconded for the motion, please, Councillor Devlin. Any further discussion on this motion? Seeing none, all those in favor? Opposed? Motion's carried. Item number 3. Councillor Devlin?
Move that official community plan amendment bylaw number 2444 be read a third time.
Seconded for that motion, please, Councillor Lucille. Any discussion on that motion? Councillor Palmer?
I won't oppose motion, but it certainly would have been my preference if there had been a pause between third reading and adoption. Thank you.
Okay. Comment? Any other comments? Seeing none, all those in favor? Opposed? Motion's carried. Item number 4. Councillor Dolan, please.
I will move that zoning amendment bylaw number 2445 be read a third time.
Seconded for the motion, Councillor Palmer. Any discussion on the motion? All those in favor? Opposed? Motion's carried. Item number 5. Councillor Cherry.
Move that official community plan amendment bylaw number 2444 be adopted.
Seconded for the motion, please, Councillor Lucille. Any discussion on this motion? Seeing none, all those in favor? Opposed? Motion's carried. Item number 6. Councillor Lucille.
That zoning amendment bylaw number 2445 be adopted.
Seconded for the motion, please, Councillor Devlin. Any discussion on this motion? Seeing none, all those in favor? Opposed? Motion's carried. Thank you. Moving on to item 9B, council procedure amendment bylaw. Somebody want to put that motion on the table for me, please? Councillor Devlin.
I will move the council procedure amendment bylaw number 2446 be adopted.
Seconded for that motion, Councillor Palmer. Any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, all those in favor? Opposed? Councillor Orlando is opposed. Balance of council in favor. This motion passes. We're moving on to item 9C. Does someone want to put that motion on the table for me, please?
Should we have the presentation first?
Yeah, we actually could. Mr. Black.
Thank you, Your Worship and Council. As this was a simple housekeeping item, no presentation has been prepared. However, staff, of course, are available for any questions that you may have.
Any questions from council? So, Mr. Black, so basically these amendments are just clarification on issues that we are already interpreting. Is that correct?
Your Worship, and to all of council, the housekeeping items here are one, just to keep ahead of the CPI, as we don't want to fall behind like we were in years past. The second component is to address recent legislation and to simplify operations internally to collect DCCs with installments over periods of time. Basic questions regarding previous parcel or house sizes when we don't have any records. And that's about it.
Thank you. Council, any questions for Mr. Black before I ask for motions? Council Chair.
It's more of a comment. I just want to say thank you for coming up with the installment regulations or matching the provincial allowances for this. The goal, I mean, I've been bothering you about this since January 1st. So I appreciate this being on here. The goal is to keep everybody working without having to come up with a full fee right at either a building permit.
Yep. Got it. Thank you. All right, someone want to put motion number 1 on the table for me, please? Council Luceno,
I move the development cost charges amendment bylaw number 2448 be read a first time.
second for the motion, please. Councilor Devlin, any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, all those in favor? Opposed? No, motion's carried. Item number 2, Councilor Luceno.
That development cost charges amendment bylaw number 2448 be read a second time.
Second for the motion, please. Councilor Devlin, any discussion on this motion? Seeing none, all those in favor? Opposed? Motion's carried. Item number 3, Councilor Luceno.
That development cost charges amendment bylaw number 2448 be read a third time.
Second for the motion, please. Councilor Cherry, any discussion on this? Seeing none, all those in favor? Motion's carried. Thank you. All right, we are moving on to item 11A, Planning Department change of hours service. Mr. Carlo, this is your file, I understand.
Yes, it is.
Want to give us a brief overview, please?
Sorry, I'll come over where I have this sheet. Signature. All right. To your worship, staff is presenting a change of hours of service outside service hours to a liquor primary license at the Royal Canadian Legion Branch 46. The plan is to extend the hours on Monday through Wednesday to end at 12:30 a.m. instead of 12 a.m. On Thursday to extend from 12 a.m. to 2 a.m. Friday and Saturday from 12:30 a.m. to 2 a.m. Staff is bringing this to council as per direction in policy DS8 liquor and cannabis policy.
All right, thank you. Any questions for Mr. Carroll? Councilor Stegner?
Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much for the information. My question is regarding other primary, like similar liquor establishments. What are their closing hours? If we were to look at similar restaurants or bars, what time do they close at?
Through the chair to Councillor Stapenhurst, staff did do a look at other liquor primaries in the area, and we are aware of other liquor primaries that do close at 2 a.m. The ones that I can name off the top of my head would be Traverse and The Last Drop, which currently aren't in service at the moment, but those both close at 2 a.m.
Thank you. No further questions.
All right, someone want to put the first motion on the table for me? Councilor Devlin?
I will move the council endorse staff's comments based on the regulatory criteria of the Liquor and Cannabis Regulation Branch for a change of hours of service, the Royal Canadian Legion Branch 46 liquor primary license.
Second for the motion, Councilor Luceno. Any further discussion on the motion, Councilor Palmer?
Thank you, Mayor Souls. Yeah, question, in the event, either here or other venues that have similar late closing times or early, I guess. Can the city pull back on those kind of hours? Bring them back if a future council wanted to do that?
Mr. Carroll?
Through the chair to Councillor Palmer. So that would seem like a bylaw matter. All businesses will have to adhere by BC Serving and Ready Training, LCRB regulations, and section 4.1A of the noise bylaw number 1940. So in the chance that there is a situation where there is a complaint, but that's it, the bylaw matter.
Mr. Gibbs, any comment?
Through the chair, Councilor Palmer, I think your question is regarding if there is a future desire from council to backstep on this approval. Yeah. The recommendation would go through, I believe I'm correct here, Director Simon, correct me if I'm wrong here, but the process would typically be we'd send a notice to the liquor branch that council official motion from council directing or requesting the change, and then it would be a recommendation to the liquor branch to amend any service hours, but ultimately the approval for that would be within the liquor branch's authority.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Did I get a seconder for that question? I did. All right, I'll call the question. All those in favor? Opposed? Motion's carried. Item number 2.
I'll move that the feedback from residents, if any, solicited by notification letters mailed to property owners with 100 meters of the subject property will be provided to the LCR.
Second for that motion, please, Council Lucille. Any further discussion on that motion? Seeing none, all those in favor? Opposed? Motion's carried. Item number 3.
I'll move that council recommend the approval of change of hours of service to the liquor primary license based on the liquor license amendment is consistent with the official community plan, the downtown revitalization development permit area guidelines, and permitted use in the downtown zone. The change of service hours would not perceivably affect the use nor increase the potential nuisance from the business, and no negative impacts on the surrounding neighborhood are anticipated as a result of this approval.
Second for that motion, Council Lucille. Any discussion on this motion? Seeing Councilor Owen.
Sorry for the detailed question on the previous motion. I'm just double checking if I may through the chair, the letters are to be sent or have been sent to neighbors?
To be sent, is that correct?
Through the chair to Councilor Lemon. The notification letters have been sent to 59 properties, and all feedback in the time period that they have to get back to us has been completed. And as of now, we have received no response.
Sorry, thanks for that clarification. All right, I'm going to call the question on item number 3. All those in favor? Opposed? Motion's carried. Item number 4, Councilor Devlin.
I will move that LIQ 2026-11 change of hours of service to a liquor primary license report dated August 11th, 2026 be provided to the LCRB as that.
Seconder for the motion, Councilor Lucille. Any discussion on this motion? Seeing none, all those in favor? Motion's carried. Thank you. Johnny, thank you. Thank you for bringing this forward to us. I understand today is your last meeting with us, and I want to thank you for your service to the community of Revelstoke. Wish you all the best as you head back home to the East Coast. And keep in touch. Let us know where you are. I hope to be coming to Halifax, and I understand they have some good beer at Alexander Keith's. So maybe I can take you out for a beer, even if you don't drink beer. We'll find you something. But thank you again for what you've done for our community, and we're just very appreciative. So I just want to give you a round of applause. Thank you again. All right.
And of course, Johnny, go back.
Go back up.
Go back up.
Thank you very much.
All right, moving on to correspondence. We have a letter from the Regional Library regarding a bike charging station. Any comments on this letter? Councillor Cherry?
Yeah, this is really interesting. It's something that I hadn't thought of. I know that, I believe that Mr. Parliament is already working on something. Maybe he wants to give us an update, if there is one.
On potential funding,
Yes.
on bike charging. Yeah, in short, we're having discussions with CVT and Amanda as to see whether or not there's a similar program that has been funded, which there has. So we're just putting together the details, whether to source out that funding for this very project. Thank you.
Okay. That's fine.
I'm wondering, I suppose, if there'd be merit of referring this to tourism Revelstoke, so the opportunity in that context, we may have some other ideas.
Sure, I think that's appropriate.
I'll put that as a motion.
Okay, so on a second on motion, Councillor Lucille. Any further discussion on that motion?
They do have a meeting tomorrow.
Okay,
Did you have a meeting tomorrow? Bring it up for sure.
okay.
I'm sending an email out.
Sure. Okay, I'll call the question. All those in favor? Opposed? Motion's carried unanimously. Thank you. Moving on to 4th Street bike lanes, we have a letter regarding that. Any comments on that letter? Councillor Stickners?
Yeah, I just wanted to thank staff for getting this letter included. I know it didn't necessarily meet the grounds, but I think it was important to have it included, especially hearing the concerns from the residents. And I look forward to working with Director Black on addressing these issues at a upcoming Public Infrastructure Committee meeting.
All right. Good. Any other comments? Councillor Palmer.
I'll formalize it. We refer the letter to the Public Infrastructure
Okay,
Committee.
seconded by Councillor Lucille. Any comments? Seeing none, all in favor? Motion's carried. Thank you. All right, moving on to communications, 13A. Councillor Palmer, you attended the Tanaha Annual General Assembly. Your reports in the package, but any comments?
It was definitely an eye opener for me. I went there knowing very, very little about the Tonopah, and I think I came away knowing something. And yeah, so if there's any questions from the report or anything that anybody has, it certainly helped context because of the generally when there's land acknowledgement with organizations, when Revelstoke is typically for, and it's not quite that simple.
Yeah. We all realize that's not that simple. Yeah, thanks for your comment. Any questions, Councillor Devlin?
Just through the chair, I'd like to congratulate Councillor Palmer on being the first politician to ever know anything.
I'm not sure how I touch on that one, but I'm gonna leave that there.
I'll take that as an insult.
It wasn't intended.
All right, we're moving on. Public Infrastructure Committee, we talked about water metering process and concerns how we deal with those who are apprehensive about having the meters installed. And so our engineer will work with the company that's going to install those to come up with some sort of parameters to work through that. Any further comment, Councilor Palmer?
Yeah, Mayor Souls, I wasn't at the Public Infrastructure Committee. I think this was discussed in the sense that I had it was more from an enforcement perspective. And I guess I have a little, just sort of, that's how it felt to me, rather than engagement with the public. So there is some specific individuals that I think have very legitimate concerns. I don't know if there's from that public infrastructure how we're addressing those things that are directly related to city infrastructure.
I think, so the options, what are our options as we move forward for those who are apprehensive? Communication and engagement, and the reason for putting them in will be the first step. And discussing that and discussing their individuals as one, or their concerns as one-offs, and seeing if we can't come to resolution and see what the issue is for those people. Second to that, how do we get these installed? If they're absolutely adamant about not getting them installed, then it's not going to be where we hammer it down on them. We'll look at other things, other ways to get it done. And so I think that's the key. It's not about saying it's coming. And Mr. Black, you can elaborate a little further if you feel. I know Ms. Lindsay's file, but if I'm off track, it's about the gentle way of getting these done.
Thank you, Your Worship. Just briefly, we are at the beginning of this public notification period. The community, I do not believe, understands that we received a grant for all of this, so that is not coming out of taxation. Implementation of this program will require changes to the water servicing bylaw, which will come to council for your consideration, and will also allow us to input into that bylaw the constraints and opportunities for folks that have concerns with this process and program. Again, we will be transparent, and there will be an ongoing public outreach throughout this process. Implementation will be in about 7 to 8 months. And so we have roughly 2/3 of a year to get the community informed and understand where we're going with this. And
Yeah, thank you, Mayor Souls. I'll just make some clarifying statements. First of all, I'm very much in favor of the water metering. I get it. I'm on board 100%. And I applaud the work that staff did on getting the funding to put that in. I think it's a necessary thing. It is way overdue, quite frankly. And then the second sort of statement, I guess, would be that I'm not talking about the conspirators elements or the naysayers or that, I may say, fringe component of society that is reading something evil in this or something. I'm not. And what I am specifically is concerned about. I think some residents have some very, and I don't want to get into the technical, but some very reasonable technical questions and concerns, specifically around freezing water lines. And I'm just wondering how, what we're doing to get ahead of it. And then I guess the final remark is that actually, Councillor Devlin, I think you aptly stated we approved going ahead with this, that rolling out the communications was key. And we're even hearing, if the public doesn't understand certain things, then do we need to up the game? And if we're depending on a contractor for those communications, I think we're possibly failing on that communication.
And I think the communications will come from us, Councillor Palmer. It's because they have some experience with this sort of communication out and implementing these programs. We'll look to them for advice on how we roll the communications out. But Revelstoke is a different community in as much as they like to hear directly from us, so that we will make sure those communications are coming out in a way that they're knowing they're hearing from us and that we're hearing from them and deal with them directly.
And then if I may, Mayor Souls, just one last question, because I may have misread it on the website. I understood that installation would be starting in August. Is that inaccurate? And when do we anticipate the installation to start?
So I think installation isn't this August, is it? It's later.
We have a lot of work to do, including rolling out communications, updates to bylaws, of water rate study, which we are now implementing right now. The results of that water rate study will be available in the fall, again, for council's consideration to the future charges bylaw. Rollout will be next year.
Okay, so we aren't starting installation, so there's a whole year.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. All right. Any other comments or concerns, Councillor Dunn?
Yeah, sorry, I'm not going to belabor it too much, just because this is probably be discussed at a later time and it's a bit more official, but just because we're on the topic of communications about this. I do think that it is pretty important to note that as part of the communications isn't simply just about water metering. I think there seems to be, from kind of what I've gathered, a fairly fundamental kind of misunderstanding or lack of knowledge about just generally how municipal water billing works. There's obviously, there are always going to be people who think nefarious things, but I think in general, people seem to not really understand that it's not a for-profit enterprise. It can't be by its very nature. We are like, it doesn't make any sense to bill the citizens more to then fill up the coffers of the public money that they already own. If we were really that interested in taking people's money for our own reasons, we would just raise taxes. Honestly, like, there's no benefit to doing it through utilities and then having it be stuck in utility spending. So just, yeah, I think as part of that communications, I think, yeah, maybe it might be worth it to give like a kind of point by point bulletin of like just general how municipal utilities work in general, because I think there's a lot of public misunderstanding about that. So just kind of making that.
Yeah, appreciate that comment. That's noted by Director Black. Councillor Lemon.
Yeah, just a question for staff through the chair. What will council's role be as the communication plan is developed? Maybe more specifically, will it be, back to a committee or a council meeting for review? And for background, the reason I ask that is when I talk to residents about this, they have a list of pretty specific questions that they want addressed. And I get the sense that if for this person that question was answered and for that person that question was answered, that would relieve any concern that they have. So I'm just wondering if we'll have an ability to review those as they get formulated.
Black?
Councillor Orlando, yes, I would suggest that we would follow a Talk Revelstoke style program. Again, we're half baked at this point with this plan, this information that is being considered by council today or discussed by council today. Certainly things that we will take back to staff and our consultants and our installer to further understand and figure out the best way to answer those questions that the community may have. We will also be taking this to the PSC in addition to the council seeing the bylaw and he's in charge of updates that come along with this project.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Any other comments? Seeing none, I'm going to move on to item 13C, Community Fire Smart Resiliency Committee minutes. Councilor Stigners.
Yes, sir. At that meeting, we discussed the wildfire week of 2026. Part of that discussion was the withdrawal of Tourism Revelstoke from the support from that. I've since been in communication with their new director and other members of Tourism Revelstoke to get them hopefully back engaged and working together with the city on future wildfire weeks. Other discussions were regarding the critical infrastructure of assessments and the impact that wildfires would have. And then we received a brief update from the Ministry of Forest regarding the wildland urban interface fire reduction plan and moving forward. So that's really quickly. And then lastly, for those going to UBCM, changes to the Fire Smart, I'd greatly appreciate the advocacy of those who are attending UBCM and ensuring that we have future fire smarting funding. So.
Okay, appreciate that. Any comments? Councilor Palmer, did you have?
I have another comment on the water meter.
Okay.
Yeah, so just I was looking because I thought I had read it on Talk Revelstoke. It answers a lot of the questions regarding the water metering. I think they're generally pretty good. However, it does says there will be installation completed area by area phases beginning in summer 2026. And that's also what was reported in the local media. I think in an interview they had with Neptune. So there is that's creating quite a bit of anxiety. And I think it is based on that inaccurate information.
Councilor Black, our Director Black, sorry.
I don't want to be
downgrading, my apologies.
Mayor Souls and Council, I have been corrected. The installations will start in the fall. We're not starting right away. It will be zone by zone. And my apologies for misspeaking as to the installation date. That still means we have a lot of work to do. The charges will not be able to be included into financing until next year, as all of these bylaws need to be updated.
Okay.
So installations will begin. We will work hard on this project and get the information to the community as quickly as we can.
So that communication rollout piece will be fairly quick.
Absolutely.
Fair. Thank you.
Are you satisfied with that, Mayor Souls?
I haven't looked at the whole deal, but at this point in time, if that's the way it's going to roll out, I can work with that. You're not.
I think we got a major problem. Thank you.
Any other comments? That's wrong.
Sorry, just based on the discussion here, is there any thought, I guess a question through staff to the chair to accelerate the communication thing? And again, my main point is like really specific questions, like people want to know if they're coming inside to install the meter and I've got a doggy daycare in my basement that's not licensed, am I going to get written up? So that's the specific one, like who's going to be inside the building and what's going to happen with that. Just a detailed type question. The leaving the taps running in the winter, I could do half a dozen more, and they're just specific things that's the deal breaker for that person. It's going to go a lot easier if they just have an answer to that question. And then overall education stuff, which we may already be doing just in terms of costs of supplying water and demand for water in the summer, why it peaks, why we're doing it, those kinds of things. So any thoughts are given that the installation will start sooner, do we have an ability to do that communication piece a little bit sooner as well?
Mr. Black, I'm going to go to you and then Mr. Gibbs.
Through your worship, Councilor Orlando, accelerating this is absolutely a priority.
Mm-hmm.
These questions will be addressed prior to the installation beginning, and same with the rollout of the program.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Now, Mr. Jeffs, just with regards to our installers, so our installers will not be city, they are going to be the contractors doing the installation. So from my perspective, we're not looking for bylaw infringement. We're looking for ability to install this well-deserved device, correct?
Yeah, to your worship, correct. It will not be a city staffer, it will not be a bylaw officer going in to install that. They are not there looking for matters of non-compliance. Been working with Ms. Lindsay on addressing some of the concerns for the people who are, again, when they're a little more resistant to allowing the staff in there, what kind of options do they do have? Ultimately, when their contractor's going in to install, the scope of what they're looking at is, can the system, or where in the system can they install the meter? Does the installation then comply with the plumbing code requirements of having a pressure reducing valve, a check valve? That's the scope. They're not going in there looking for matters of non-compliance for the bylaw department and they're reporting back to the bylaw department. That is by no means the intention of this.
Yeah, thank you so much. And I was hesitant to bring up one example. There are many more of them, but I feel they need an opportunity to be voiced so that people can rest assured that they're not going to face that one. Another one, for example, and I don't want to go into the list, is like my cousin redid the intake thing 50 years ago, and I'm worried, and is it going to cost me a lot of money, and it's not up to code, and what's going to happen? Am I going to have to pay for it? So what about costs incurred to me and those kinds of things, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. There's a long list, but just to get that opportunity for people to have answers to those questions, I think will help a lot of people people who are hesitant get on board. That's just
Well, thanks for that comment, but half of Revelstoke will be in that same boat.
Yeah.
Where my cousin did the
Yeah.
installation 50 years ago, and I
Yeah.
think those are valid concerns. So Councilor Luciano, you have a question? I'll ask you your question, and then Ms. Williams is on, she can talk about communications. So go ahead.
Yeah, just a question when it comes to the water metering. If damages are incurred while they're getting installed or anything happens after they've been installed, who holds that liability? Is it Neptune? Is it the city?
Mr. Black, I think that's on us, is that correct? If we err in installation?
If the contractor errs in installation, it would be the contractor would be responsible for that error.
Ms. Williams, you have communication input.
Thank you, Mayor Sauls. I just wanted to confirm that the media release about this project initially went out on June 16th. And in relation to that, the Tort Revelstoke page with the full FAQ list has been available for almost 2 months. You'll note at the very bottom of that section, it says, is there a question that that you have that we didn't answer? If so, please email that to engineering@revelstoke.ca and we'll update these FAQs accordingly. If council are receiving questions from the public, it would be really helpful for our communications to know what they are so that we can help answer them for the community. That's all. Thank you.
Council can forward them to you in an anonymous way. Is that factual, Ms. Williams?
Mayor Sauls, if they could be forwarded to the engineering@revelstoke.ca address, and then I will work with Ms. Lindsay and the Neptune team to make sure that they're put on Tort Revelstoke for everyone to see.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Any other comments on this issue? Seeing none, I'm going to go back to the Fire Smart and Resiliency Committee. Any comments on the minutes? Seeing none. Ms. Delasal, do we have any questions from the press online?
There are no questions from the press, Your Worship.
All right, thank you. Thank you, Council. We are at the end of our agenda, so I am going to ask for termination. Councillor Stapeners, Councillor Devlin, all in favor? Motion's carried. We're done for the day. Thank you.